This conference will now be recorded.
So at this point, since I've changed the ID value from login1 to login, this point the verification will fail and the script will stop out here. The rest of the part, right, typing the text in the username field, typing the text on the password will not happen. Clicking on the go button will not happen. So it will stop out here. You can see that. So I can run it from here and show you. So username field has an attribute called ID whose value is login1. The expected I've given us login. So it is failing. You can see that it is not typing, neither it is verifying. It will not verify the password, not type there, not click on the go button. Then there's a failure out here. And this failure is happening because the settings done. So we have, since we are doing failure handling concepts, so I'll show you the what is the settings by default. So if we go out here to project settings, mm, test design, test case. So it's defined out as stop on failure. By default, this is the setting. If I set it out to continue on failure and click OK, you will see that even after this point is a failure, it will continue with the rest of the codes. You can check this out. So let's run it once more. So set text as set encrypted text should not happen. Click on the go button should not happen. It is still you got typing. You can see that. So rest of the codes below it will get compiled, and that is why they are being thrown out. But ultimately, you will see that the test case has failed. So this setting is done by going to projects. In projects, you have to go to settings, test execution, test design, test case, continue on failure, and there's one more optional. Okay, so these are the three settings that you want to do. So for this, I will set it to continue on failure. Click on OK. So when verification fails out here, the rest of the codes below it will get compiled, but the test case will fail. So this is what you mean by file failure handling concept. Script mode, if you want to see the script mode of this, there's no way that you can basically set up the script mode. There's no script mode for this. Basically, you can see that you have to do it manually by going to project settings, go to the test design, test case, and set it out here, which way you want to. Next part is your the concept of your setup and tear down. Setup and tear down is required when you can see that every test case has initial part which is constant and the closing part which is constant. For example, initial part navigation to this Gmail. For example, you are creating a lot of test cases for this URL. You have to open browser backslash it and navigate to the same URL again and again. So what you can do is that instead of this, mm, I can disable this. Let me disable it. I'll not remove it. I'll let me disable it. I'll disable it. I'll disable the close browser also. You can again enable it if you wish to. Enable is out here. So what I will do is that I'll add something called as initialize. What is that? This method is change it everything again. Become a custom call test case. It's not a method call statement. It will be called as, where are they using it right now? Keeps on changing. Initialize in Catalan. Not in Kotlin. It's called as a setup. Steer down. Setup tear down for test suits and test cases. This is calling a test case. Ah, here. So it is present out here. You can see this. So you can go out here, add method. So here you can use setup. Okay. And tear down if failed, tear down if passed, tear down if error. Okay, we'll see that also. Able to build. initialize, and I can basically define the open browser out here. Example, add out, let's say, open browser, and after that add out maximize window. Then I can basically do something, let's say navigate to URL, and the URL can be defined out here. Same URL, I can copy it, paste it out here. So this becomes a setup for the test case. Okay, and you can similarly have add a method, call this at tear down method. I will not tear down if it is failing, passing, or error. Simple tear down, not under situations in which it is failing or passing or error. We'll call this as tear down process. And this will have close browser, for example. This is setup and tear down at the test case level. So I can run this. See, initialization is happening first, automatic. Yeah, verification has failed. That's a different story. I can call this as what is the test case name? I should say. Failure handling, and refactor this and set up. That will be better. Okay, this is you can see the tear down process and initial. The verification is failing, but since you have done a setting that on failing, continue on failure. Similarly, you can see there's a tear down if it is failing, tear down if it is passing, tear down if it is error. So, for example, what is this happening as? If you look at this behavior, and there is a, if you look at the log viewer or the console rather, exception, step failed exception, illegal argument exception. So I can have a strategy in which I can basically disable this first. Yeah. So let me add a method. So if I basically check out something like add a method tear down on failure, I got to insert this tear down on failure, and then I have to disable this also. Hmm. On failure, what do you want to do on failure? On failure, you can basically, for example, take screenshot on failure, and then you can close the browser. So on failure, you can take a screenshot. You can run this. A failure or screenshot will be taken at the last because you are continuing on failure. That is the setting that you have done for test case. View the execution history. Analytics we'll see later on. You can directly add this test case to existing test suite or to a new test suite if you wish to see that. One minute. And I can add it to a test suite, a new test suite right now. I'll call this result uh, take screenshot on failure. And you can do in the take screenshot on failure has come out here, new test suite. And you can add up the, what is that? Add and continue. Have they been added? Already added, I think. You can add more actually. Yeah, it has been added, so I can remove this. Okay, and you can close this, and you can run it. There's only one screen. Okay, one thing more I can do is that I can go to project settings, test design, test case. I will stop on failure. If you do stop and failure, the test case will be taken at the point which it has failed. So you'll see that there's no, the login screen will come without the username and password. No username password will be now typed. And this is your test suite. And this is the result. This is the result that you see, and it has failed. You can see that. And total test case 1, field 1. This is the OS name, platform name, timestamp, start and end timestamp, Catalan version, host name and all. And these are screenshot on failure. Is that is a screenshot coming? Show test case details. Setup test case and tear down test case, you can see. Scripting part. Where is the, I had to find out the screenshot. Okay, 1 minute. Let me go to Catalan ID, Catalan project, test suits. This is the test case typing. I have to store it somewhere. This is not defined properly out here. So test case on failure. Okay, let's say the T8 On failure, take a screenshot, right? Where is the script for that? Okay, one more thing, when I'm disabling it, these are disabled, you can see. So with the scripting, what it is coming as not run. And this is the initialization script, tear down script. And this is a tear down and screenshot on failure. So I have to give the path out here. So where do you want to put it? I want to put it in the same failure, this one. So open containing folder. Properties of it. Open containing folder. I'll give the whole path. Backward slash attribute. Fail.png. It'll support PNG and JPEG. These two. So you can go to the tear down. I've given the path out here. Okay, and from the suit I will run it once more. Must have failed. I need to go to the Catalan Studio. It will be kept in the test cases, not in the test suite, test cases folder. Failure and tear down. This is the fail.png. So this is the same screenshot that has been taken on failure. So failure has happened on where the verification failed. For the username's attribute called ID as well as login1, I have given login. That's why at this point it is failed and that screenshot has been taken. You can see this. So this is the setup and tear down process that you have for the test case. Now this is the suit level. Suit level setup and tear down also out there. So this is called the Gmail suite. This is actually the suite. These two are not part of the suite actually. So what I can do is that let me create a suite as take screenshot suite. Okay, and put this suite. Delete it from here. In the take screenshot shoot, I can add a add to it from here. Now this take screenshot has this particular test case which already has a setup and tear down. This is much more better. Okay. So failure handling, setup and tear down, screenshot on failure you've seen. And okay, before I show you the call, this is calling the test case inside another test case. Okay, that I'll show you later on. It's easy. Important thing is these ones. Data-driven testing, in which you are reading a Excel sheet, and this part I've done JavaScript. So these two I'll show you. Reading and writing to an Excel sheet. You have to create a function out of this. First writing part I'll show, then reading part.
Hello, Kaushik.
Yeah.
That you told just showed us the script mode, no? Can you just show us an example? How can we write in a script mode?
One.
This one.
This is how you write down in the script address. You go to the script. This is for the test case.
Okay.
Uh, this is the initialization. You have to use this setup
Okay.
annotation. This is a setup annotation out here. Okay, and you have to def is a keyword used to define a initialization method, and you use a parameter based method, and inside this initialize method you can just basically define the keywords of catalog. Similarly, you have a tear down process. A tear down will also have a tear down annotation. At the rate means it's annotation. At the rate always means it's annotation out here. Tear down on failure if failed, tear down if error, tear down if passed, and then simple tear down. So you can just use a tear down method out here, pass on a parameter, and you can use the keyword out. And this is on failure. On failure, I'm taking a screenshot. And the screenshot is kept in this particular path, and then closing the browser.
Show us an example. How do we pass a parameter over that initialize?
If you require to pass it, you pass it. Otherwise, you don't pass it.
Okay, just give an example. How do we do any example wherein we just pass in parameter and initialize call the initialize method.
Okay. Open browser by itself has okay, fine. I can't give in open browser. What I can do is let it be out in mail.ready.com. Parameter name is a URL and put that URL. Value equal null is coming because I have not defined the value of the URL. Hello?
Hello, Kaushik. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Kaushik.
Variable value is this particular value. That you can put it to a variable value.
Hello, Kaushik. Can you just repeat what you told because you had muted yourself?
So here you can pass on the, see, using a variable. So there's a variable URL I have created. This is the value of the variable has to be defined. The value of the variable can be coming from here. Where is that? More. So variable URL is created whose value is this. This is kept in your test case. And that variable you are calling out here. And open browser. And you can go to the script mode. This is an annotation. Setup annotation. So every annotation has a method. Okay. And so whatever is the value of URL that will be printed out here. Run this. So if you go to the console result, I'll show you once more what happens. It goes out. Verification text field don't have a ready email ID. That verification is failing. The crux of the matter is that this is an annotation method. Annotation methods are created like this in your catalog. You can't pass up a parameter order. This is just for the annotation behavior it is given. You can have a test case based variable, and the scope of this variable is inside the test case only. And that variable value, you have fixed it out as this. That variable can be called inside the open browser method URL as a variable out here. But if you try to basically print out the value of that, that will not give you any kind of value because that will be equal to null. Okay.
But you are setting the value of URL, no? Then
No,
how
I'm
come
not.
will the value? How come the value will be null?
No. This is an annotation method.
Okay.
I can give it as a URL. I can call it as a parameter also. This is
Yeah.
annotation method.
Okay. Fine. I am asking you, like, you had sent their URL, no, within the variable name. You had
Yeah.
set to some URL, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
This
Can't you
is
pass this? Can't you
this I'm
pass this over there?
no, I can't pass it over there. This is an initialization test annotation method. I can't do anything with this.
No, when there is a parameter, then why can't we pass it within a function over there?
You can't do it because this is a test annotation method. This is a setup annotation method. Initialization is a method name I have given. This is a, I can give any other name. I can give it a setup as the method
Okay,
name.
I'm not talking about the method name. I'm just asking parameter within a parameter. Sorry, for a method, can't we pass a parameter?
For a method,
Like
you can
how?
pass a parameter. For a method, you can
So,
pass a parameter. This
yeah,
is
this is
not
a
a
method
method.
only, na?
This is
Then,
a, no, this is a test annotation method.
yeah,
Annotation method. Annotation method is created like that. I can't pass a
okay,
parameter. If I pass a parameter, then this setup is coming out here. Simple analysis. Where I can give it? Where do I pass up the parameter? They have not set it out.
okay.
They have not set it out. That's what I'm saying. Where will I give the parameter? If they have set it out the parameter in the script part, it is fine that you see this test annotation method has a parameter based function. Well and fine, I understand that. But when I go to the mode out here, I want to pass on this param out here. I want to pass out the param out here. Then this parameter has to be passed when I call this setup function. I go to the manual mode. Where do I set up the function? Function parameter. So what I can do is that I can remove this and say, okay, it's well and fine. The script will change. Now this comes without a parameter. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Similarly, tear down process also, it is coming with a parameter. You should not have parameters, strictly speaking, because you will not be able to work with it. So delete this also and delete from here also. Off. Now we'll see in the script code no parameters, so you will not get confused. Now I can pass up the URL and now I can print the URL. This URL value is defined out. It is defined out in the scope of the test case and this is the value. So when I run out initialization setup method or whatever you can call it as, it will basically print out that URL after maximizing of the window. I don't want to run it debug mode. If you go to the console mode, there is a failure. That is what it's saying. You are getting the printout of URL. Here you can get it. I hope I am clear now. So now you have to Excel. So before I use this, I will basically use custom. I have to go to project first and you have to use Apache Poi for this. You can go out here and download Apache Poi used for reading, writing Excel sheets. I'll go to the archive mode. Yes, Anadi. Yeah, tell me. Have you updated the project? So do one particular thing. If that is still has a problem, then go to the M2 repository and just delete the M2 repository and update the project again. Binary artifacts, I'll go to 3.17 zip file. I think it is present out here. Apache Poi. Okay, 4.11 also I have it. So you can get this, extract it out here. So these are the jar files. Couple of jar files is out here, OXML, and couple of jar files in the lib section. So you need to go to Catalan Studio project, settings, mm, external libraries, add the jar files. So first we'll write down. So I'll show you that. Where is that? com.helper.excel. Workspace, Elan. Hmm. Public First give the path. So this can, you have to create the Excel sheet first. So I'll call this Excel sheet. Write data. So when you are writing in the Excel sheet, keep it closed. You go to your desktop, pick up the path of that properties, and you can copy this. Slash write data XLSX. Dot, at which sheet number do you want to write down? So sheet number 1 will have index number 0. Sheet number 2 will have index number 1. So I want to write down its index number 0. Then index number of the row has to be given. Index of the row starts with 0. Index of the column is cell 0. That means I want to write down in this cell. Okay, and then what do you want to write down? For example, name in string format. So let your Excel sheet be in closed state. You can just uh, run it. So to execute it, you can see your Excel sheet right now. It was in open state. My God. Sheet number 0, index name. Let me execute it. Why didn't it write down? Yeah. Yeah, Gopi, what happened? No, no, I did not. I'll send you one link. Hold on. Let's see, writing or not. At the rate keyword Excel right. String values are defined. Okay. At sheet 0 at row number index 1. Right F out.
Show me that one that we got for.
Double backward slash. Cannot create on this. Hmm. Okay, let me look at this particular. I think this is the intrinsic problem of the Apache POI because this method works absolutely fine out there in the Eclipse. So we have to see that what needs to be done out here to get the results. Okay, everything is fine. I don't know what is the problem. It's less X. No, it is not getting written. Okay, let me see it because I have to create the function separately as a keyword driven. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.